All right, we continue our special coverage on this commemoration of Women's Day. Let's go to Tzaneen once again in Limpopo ahead of where these official Women's Day celebrations will be taking place. You'd know President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to deliver the keynote address there. SABC News reporter Lutendo Bobodi joins us live from there now. Lutendo, first of all, I'm not going to say Happy Women's Day to you, but you're going to be speaking to a whole lot of women today, about the strides that have been made and, some of the challenges that women actually, have to go through, that we still have to traverse as women in a democratic South Africa. What have you heard from these women from a male's perspective?
Thank you so much, Christina. I can say Happy Women's Day to you, of course. I was saying earlier that I was worried about the weather when I was watching the Iran cloud gather, and I thought it's going to mess up this event. This is a high rainfall area, but I can see now it's dissipating, and now the weather knows what the deal is. We are here in Nkoankoa now. This is a very big event, National Women's Day celebration, where President Ramaphosa will be coming here. Of course, we spoke to women even earlier on. Of course, their concern is crime. Crime is their major concern because these merciless criminals target especially women and young people. And this is their problem, especially here in Nkoankoa. But around the province in general, the crime rates, especially GBV, are quite high. But let me just talk to you about people coming through here. You can see earlier on people were just trickling in, but now you can see they are flocking through, and they are also picking up some food there just to energize themselves, and they'll be ready to listen to the president. You can see here colors, beautiful ladies here just behind us. They are not even from this province. Look at the outfit. They are docked out in beautiful outfit. They are celebrating women in style. But for now, I'm joined by National Youth Development Agency CEO, that is CEO Kubheka. Katida joins me. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for your patience. Let's talk about, earlier I was speaking with Minister Chikunga, and we were talking about gender-based violence and femicide in the province. The rates are alarming. They're skyrocketing every day, especially in Bembe. Of course, you are concerned. I want to hear your view about it.
Well, thank you so much for having us this morning, and Happy Women's Day to all of the women in South Africa. Certainly, gender-based violence and femicide is at crisis levels in South Africa, and particularly in the district that we're in. And it's quite important to really accelerate the efforts that will ensure that not only is that addressed at the level of criminality, but also the efforts to ensure the economic empowerment of women is accelerated at an important pace. This is because we see from evidence, from research and from data that increasingly as more and more women are empowered economically, we see some of those rates also decline in society. And so I think it's a call to action to ensure that those programs and those efforts are accelerated.
You spoke about economic empowerment. The province also, the rates are high, especially with women and young people. And these are the people you deal with. But we're seeing young people being innovative. They're creating work for themselves. Just last week, I just spoke to 2 young women who are throwing themselves into farming, and they're starting from nothing. So this is where you come in.
It certainly is, and I'm grateful that you mentioned the question of farming, because farming is a sector that is able to employ a large number of young women in the country. And so I think greater efforts and resources and support needs to be focused in that area. If we're talking about employment multipliers, the agricultural sector is one of those. And so I think it's a great window of opportunity to really optimize in this environment. It's also informed by the recently ratified by Cabinet medium-term development plan. That plan is there. It just becomes a question of coordinating all of the efforts to ensure that those programs take hold on the ground.
Yeah. And to young people who are sitting at home, probably disgruntled with university degrees, what do you say to them?
I think they should continue to be innovative. They should continue to knock on the doors of the National Youth Development Agency. The National Youth Development Agency right now is driving an effort to ensure a whole-of-government integrated approach towards youth development in particular. And so in partnership with them and their innovative ideas, we should be able to support and facilitate a pathway that will ensure that their dreams do certainly come true.
And for just going back to the issue of crime, young girls were disappearing almost every day, especially in this province. This is the province I know better, but the young people are being targeted, young girls especially. What do you say to them?
I think it's quite alarming, and it's deeply, deeply concerning that it is happening at what would seem to be at unprecedented levels. And at the core of it is the extent to which whether or not young people or South Africans are productive in South African society or the economy. And I think that's the root cause of being able to drive that. Because when you look at some of the reasons as to why folks participate in such criminal activity, oftentimes you find that it's for a particular wage, which then puts the value of one's life at zero cost. And so I think that effort needs to be accelerated, and we need to focus more on ensuring that we are able to resolve that particular effort so that the adverse effects on women is reduced at an accelerated pace.
Well, Dumiso, we can't say Happy Women's Day to each other, but please enjoy your day.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much, Griselda. That is Dumiso Kubheka, who was talking about challenges that the youth are facing in this country, especially the female young people who are, or young women who are facing unemployment, who are facing alarming rates of crime. But let me just again talk about people who are coming here. We expect thousands and thousands of people. We are in Nkwankwa, as you have seen before. The stadium is 15,000 capacity stadium, the stadium that used to host PSL matches. You remember a club known as Dynamos. It used to be an alternative ground for that club. We expect thousands of people to come through and just come and listen to what the president said. They'll be coming here, listening to what the president will be saying, with hope that he will talk about the problems that they face, especially crime, unemployment. You know, they are alarming in the province. We bring you stories all the time about the challenges that women are facing. We bring you stories about women in farming who are starting from nothing, or just we just spoke last week with a woman who started farming with just 500 rand to a name. You can see that women are trying something. Also, women that are taking care of children with special needs without any resources. So these are the problems that women are facing in this province. I understand, of course, also nationally, but I'll be talking about the province that I know better. This is Limpopo, the province that we traversed all the time, looking for those stories to tell to the nation. And those stories are not just, we're not looking for juicy stories. We're looking for stories, we are looking to be part of the solution to the problems that women face in this province.